And one of the things that's been coming up is, people are being challenged with taking care of others and just not knowing how to put themselves in their own equation. That's what one woman said to me. All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of Energize Your Life After 50. I hope you are doing great out there. Hope your year has been going wonderful. We're way past the midpoint of the year. And as usual, as I usually say every week, I hope you've been working on those goals because, I talk about goals. I don't do New Year's resolutions. So since the new year, I've been talking about the goals that you've set for yourself. And here we are way in August, right? So if you've been working on those goals, if you've developing those new habits, then this is a year where you are slowly becoming the best you've ever been. You're working on that future self that you've been working on creating, okay? Before I get started in what I want to talk about today, which is, how to take care of yourself how to take care of others without leaving yourself behind, which is a topic that's been coming up quite a bit this week. But first, let me remind you of some of the resources that are available to you. As you may know, my Weight Loss Made Easy group coaching program is open for signups. It's available. You guys, if weight is an issue for you, here's an opportunity to learn all the wonderful secrets, quote unquote. There are no secrets that I teach my clients. I've been teaching my clients for years to help them lose weight for the last time. That is, you lose weight and you keep it off. So my Weight Loss Made Easy coaching program is available for you to be a part of. Go to my website, personalfitness.com, or in the show notes, there's a link that will take you to the program overview page, okay? I hope you at least consider it. Check it out to see what it's all about and to see how I might be able to help you to create that future self that you are looking to create. Who are you becoming? That is what we focus on. We don't really focus on weight loss. We focus on who are you becoming? How do you go about creating the best version of yourself? Because that is the only way to achieve permanent weight loss, okay? To lose the weight and keep it off over the long term. Secondly, again, if weight is an issue, please, I've developed 3 free videos for you. The top 3 things you must do to lose weight for the last time. Right? And there's a free ebook that goes along with it. You can get those free videos and the ebook. They're detailed. Here I'm giving you, again, the secrets, the top 3 things I do with my clients to help them lose weight for the last time. And if that's an issue for you, well, don't you want to learn what those things are? Don't you want to learn how important they are and why you too might want to put them into practice? So again, in the show notes, click the link and you can sign up to get those 3 free videos. Did I say they're free? They're free. Okay, top 3 things you must do to lose weight for the last time and the free ebook that goes along with it. Okay, so let's get going to what I want to talk about today. And we're going to talk about how to take care of others without leaving yourself behind. And this is a topic that's been coming up a lot over the past couple of weeks. I obviously talk to a lot of people. I talk to a lot of women every week from different parts of the country. I do a free health strategy call. You want to find out about that? You can find out about that at my website as well, or in the show notes. I do a free health strategy call where I get on the phone with people and we talk about whatever health challenges they're facing. And one of the things that's been coming up is, people are being challenged with taking care of others and just not knowing how to put themselves in their own equation. That's what one woman said to me. I don't know how to put myself in my own equation. I keep leaving myself out of the equation. And I got to tell you, well, that's not going to work for you in the long term, as you know. So how do you go about the process of putting yourself in your own equation, taking care of others? Because we do that. You know, a lot of people are taking care of family members, they're taking care of sick family members, they're taking care of other people. So it's important to learn to do that without leaving yourself behind. Otherwise, you will constantly in a state of struggle. And folks, when you're in a state of struggle, you can rarely create anything positive from that place, right? You can rarely create anything positive and lasting when you're constantly in a state of struggle. So today I want to offer you, three things. There are three questions that I usually have my clients focus on to learn how to put yourself in your own equation, to learn how to take care of others without leaving yourself behind. The first thing that must happen is, well, you have to ask yourself, well, how important am I? Why would I want to put myself in my own equation? How important am I? Are you important? You got to ask yourself that. Are you important? How important are you? Why should you put yourself in your own equation? Why should you take care of yourself? So this is a process of really a lot of times when people have a hard time looking out for themselves, they have a tendency to put others ahead of themselves. They put others first because they don't think they are important. They don't think they are important enough to come first. And I got to tell you, it's like we take care of ourselves. Here's the point of self-care. We take care of ourselves so that we have more to offer others, so that we can better take care of others. When you're in an airplane, the first thing they say in case of an emergency, put your mask on before you help other people, because if you pass out, well, what good are you to others? You can't help anybody else, right? If you're struggling, how well can you help other people? Not well. If you are on the verge of a breakdown, if you are dealing with all kinds of emotional turmoil, what do you have to offer others? If physically your body is breaking down, how well can you possibly be there for those you need to take care of? Not very well, right? You don't have much to give. You're running on empty. You don't show up the same way. So the first thing you got to ask yourself, well, why should I put myself first? How important are you? You need to get to that. Know what your needs are. Right? You got to know what your needs are. You've got to identify your own needs up front. What's important to you? What it is that you need to have done on a daily basis that is going to allow you to have a great day, that is going to allow you to show up and be able to take care of others. What it is that you need. What are your needs? What are the basic needs that need to be met? There has to be some basic needs that need to be met. And I call these non-negotiable habits. You create non-negotiable habits around these basic needs that need to be met in order for you to be available to take care of others, in order for you to be in that mental and emotional space, and that spiritual space, to have enough to give, and have enough to feel good about yourself, and have enough to give to others. So that is the first question. You got to ask yourself, are you important? Why am I important? And what are the needs that I need to have met so that I can be more available to others? So you got to come up with what those needs are. What are those basic needs? Right? What is important to you? I don't know what's important to you. For me, if I don't exercise for a day or two, I feel terrible. So I know one of my most basic needs, I've got to make the time for movement no matter what. I've got to make the time to eat a certain way no matter what, because if I don't, you don't want to be around me. I've got certain basic needs. I can skimp on sleep and it doesn't affect me as much as it does somebody else. But if sleep is a thing for you, then you've got to have some non-negotiable habits set up around that so that you can have your needs met. What are those needs? right? If you need to be outdoors, if you need to have some basic time in nature, if you need to have some quiet time, well, how are you going to establish that? What are those basic needs? You got to come up with what are those basic needs that you need to have met and develop some non-negotiable habits around them. So, are you important enough to do that for yourself? That's an important question for you to ask. Here's the second question you need to ask yourself. Who are you becoming? Who are you becoming? And why is that important? That's important because if you don't have a picture of who you're becoming, if you don't have a picture in your mind's eye of who you're becoming, then you have nothing that you're working towards. We're always becoming someone other than who we are. We're becoming either a better version of ourselves, a worse version of ourselves, or we're standing still. We're standing still and we're not learning, we're not growing. So we're not getting better. So if you're not getting better, if you're not becoming a better version of yourself, if you're not creating your best self, if you're not working on creating your best self, then you're being stagnant and you lack growth. And when you lack growth, that always leads to struggle. Because why? Life seeks growth. Life seeks growth. Life wants to continue. It wants to move into more life. It doesn't want to stay the same. It wants to continue. It wants to move into more life. So we are naturally in a state of seeking growth. And when you're not, you're being stagnant, and that leads to internal turmoil. That leads to struggle. Right? When you're not growing, you're in a space of being stagnant, and that is ultimately going to lead to some internal turmoil because life, your higher self, wants to seek higher ground. It wants to seek growth. It wants to seek evolution. Nothing stands still. Everything needs to change. So who are you becoming? Right? That's an important question to answer. And I would say that, well, if you're working on creating your best self, if you're working on getting better, then what is that future self that you're creating? What does that future self look like? Right? Who are you 5 years from now? Who have you become? What is that future self? What is important to you? What is your life like? Well, what are those non-negotiable habits that you have mastered along the way? Right? And those are the habits that you're going to practice now. If you don't have those non-negotiable habits of your future self that your future self has already mastered, and those are the habits you're practicing, you are practicing inhabiting those future self habits. That is how you learn not to leave yourself behind. You can still take care of others, but if you keep your focus on who you're becoming, that future self you're becoming, then you're always learning, you're always growing, you're always in the process of making time for yourself because that is what your future self has already done. So when you get in a situation, you learn to ask yourself, what would my future self do? What would my future self do? Powerful question, right? That is how you learn to live from the perspective of your future self. You learn to adapt the habits, mindset, and behaviors of your future self. Your future self has already gone through this whole process of taking care of others without leaving his or herself behind. So in order for you to learn that, in order for you to develop those habits, well, you need to practice them on a daily basis. So that's the second important question. Who are you becoming? And what would your future self do? The third question that you need to ask yourself, or the third thing that I would recommend, is learn how to ask for help. So important. You know, a lot of times we think we have to do things for ourselves. We think we have to do everything. You know, my wife is a perfect example. She thinks she just has to do everything. And I'm like, why don't you ask for help? Instead of doing things and then you are so unhappy about it, then you get angry about it because you're the only one doing it and you have to do it because if you don't do it, it doesn't get done. Well, you see how you can make a shift there, a shift in that mindset, therefore a shift in the experience of what you're doing. Just by learning to ask for help. Hey, can you help me do this? Hey, can you do this for me? And a lot of times you will find that there are so many things that you don't have to do, because just by asking, there are people out there who are ready to assist you, who are ready to say yes. But they can't read your mind. They don't know what you need help with. You might think that they should know, that you shouldn't have to ask. That's what I hear all the time. Well, I shouldn't have to ask. Well, bloody well, you don't ask, you don't get. Ask and ye shall receive. That's one of the most popular verse from the Bible, right? Ask and ye shall receive. If you don't ask, how are others to know what your needs are? We can't read your bloody mind. You need to learn to ask for help. So a lot of times, you will have more time for yourself just by learning to ask for help, just by pulling other people into the equation, recruiting other people to help you. Having this is one of the great and central habits that I have my clients develop, especially when they're dealing with weight loss. Well, you don't get to do it all by yourself. You recruit others to help you. You recruit those around you. You recruit your spouse, your kids, your family, your grandkids, everyone around you. You create a tribe around you so that you don't have to do everything yourself. You ask for help, and you help you by asking for help, you're helping others to help you. But they can't know what you need unless you ask. So please don't get in this space of saying, oh, they should know, I shouldn't have to ask for help. Well, blah, 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 blah. The world shouldn't be as it is, and people shouldn't be as divided. The country shouldn't be as divided as it is. There are a lot of shoulds out there, but who cares? Does it help you? It doesn't help you. So learn to ask for help, even when you think that you shouldn't have to. Just ask and watch the magic happens. Watch magic happens, because a lot of times you don't get help because you don't ask, and you end up doing everything yourself. Then you end up being unhappy with yourself. You end up being unhappy with other people, and that takes you down a spiral of negative emotions and negative actions. And what happens? That leads you to doing negative things. That leads you to eat for emotional reasons. That leads you to do some pissed off eating, and you end up gaining more weight. You see how it all comes together? This is what happens when a simple habit is learn to ask for help. Okay, so let's review what we're talking about. Number 1, ask yourself, are you important enough to put first? Are you important enough to come first? And know what your needs are, your basic daily needs, and create non-negotiable habits around those basic needs. Number 2, who are you becoming, and what would your future self do? Who is that future self that you're becoming? And what would your future self do? Learn to, develop the habits, mindset, and behaviors of your future self, and adopt those habits, mindset, and behaviors. And number 3, learn to ask for help. Very, very important. You practice these 3 simple principles. Take one and just work on it. How can you take one thing I've said here today and implement it in your life? Just one thing at a time. Just implement that one thing and watch wonders happen, right? This is how you learn how to take care of others without leaving yourself behind. Okay, my friends, that is all I've got for you today. Remember, my Weight Loss Made Easy coaching program is open for sign up. So personalfitness.com, or just check the show notes for a direct link to my sign up page where you can find out all about it. You also have my 3 free videos that you can sign up for. The top 3 things you must do to lose weight for the last time. There's also a free ebook that goes along with that. Again, personalfitness.com, or in the show notes, there is a link for that. You can also get a free health strategy call with me. I'll get on the phone and sit with you, and we'll talk about your challenges. What's challenging you? This is one of the challenges that I've been talking with people about this week, how to take care of others without leaving themselves behind. It's one of the topics that's come up a lot this week in those health strategy calls. That's why I'm doing a session on this, okay? Number 4, my webinar, Get Your Sexy Back. Again, my website, there's a link. So there are all these wonderfully free resources available to you if your goal is to create the best version of yourself and lose the weight for the last time. That is what I am here to help you with, to provide you with a little inspiration, support, and encouragement. Okay? All right, you take care, and I will catch you next time.